Alright, so we're on the International 175C today. You see I got this tarp over here. The tarp is covering up pilot control valve has been removed. Pilot control valve is the shifter valve. You see this plastic bag? Got a plastic bag over. There are 10 exposed lines here that each thread into or secure into the bottom of the pilot control valve. And the pilot control valve essentially does, forward, neutral, and reverse. So that valve was junky. It was full of dirt and grit and grime and stuff. Had some guys rebuild it for me. They'd never seen anything like that before. And they rebuilt it, did the best they could. I put it back together, drove it about 80 or 100 feet. Drove it from there, backed it out to the driveway, got around there. It started really messing up, and I pulled it up to here, and that's where it stopped. So then I took the thing back off because I couldn't get it to shift gears anymore. Took it to another guy that I found. After I found the first guys, I found this guy. He is very familiar with this stuff. He took it apart, and it was packed full of grease. So he said the first guys looked like they didn't know what they were doing. They packed it full of grease thinking they were doing you a favor, lubricating it, when in fact they caused it to lock up hydraulically because the fluid didn't have anywhere to go. It was full of grease. So I got the valve back from him. Before I put the valve back in, though, I'm going to change out the transmission filter. And just in case that filter is full of dirt and grit stuff, what happens is when a filter fills up, it'll bypass the filter. Then the fluid, rather than stop flowing, the fluid will bypass the filter. The filter is like on a spring. It just pops out from pressure, and the fluid then circulates, and it keeps your system from killing itself, from starving from fluid. Well, you're then circulating dirty fluid. So the filter's as full as it can get. You just continue to circulate dirty stuff. Just in case that's what's going on, I'm going to go ahead and replace the filter. The best I can figure is it takes that 1468. That may or may not be the filter that I need because it's kind of hard to round up parts for this thing being it's so old. So essentially that's a canister with a bolt on the end of it. It's pressurized, so it's pretty heavy duty little canister there. You can see the bolt sticking out the end. I'm going to take that bolt out. That canister will come apart. It all comes out this way. There's a spring, O-ring on top. There's a spring holding the filter in, and essentially just a cartridge filter. So I'm going to take that apart and stick the new filter in there, and I'll update you as we go if I can. I don't think it'd really do any good to put you on a tripod here because you really can't see nothing. That loader arm is in the way. If I'd have known what I was going to end up doing when this thing died, before I took that valve off of there, I'd have raised up the arm and give myself some access here. When that arm's up, you can get all in here. It's real easy. I can still make it, but I got to crawl around to do it. So I didn't know I was going to be doing this when I took the valve apart. So hindsight's 20/20. That's what I'm working on. Okay, that broke it. There we go. Okay. Now I'm feeling around, trying to get that old O-ring out. There we go. Oh boy, got a bad feeling that filter didn't come with an O-ring like that. Got a real bad feeling about this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but there's the filter. It's a Napa Gold 1468. Alright guys, so I inspected the O-ring. It's got a couple of pick marks in it. But what they give you, this is a heavy O-ring. I'm going to guess that's 1/4 inch diameter. What comes with a filter is just a flat little, like a cut piece of tube or whatever. There's no way that that's going to do the same job. So I am happy to see that that's the exact same filter that came out of it. So I got the right filter. I'm going to reuse this O-ring. I wiped it down real good. It's hurt a little bit from my picking, but not bad. So what's in this thing, though, you know, that you saw me pull the filter off. So, you know, the filter comes out, and then it's just a big bolt with a spring down in it. And again, that's what I was talking about. You know, when the filter gets too plugged, it's got so much pressure it pushes down on the spring then, and it allows then the, you know, the fluid to bypass. So I just want to make sure it's reasonably clean down in there. Kind of hard to do that with you know, the environment I'm working here, but we'll wipe it down again. Okay, then there's a sealing surface here on the end, and we want to make sure we get up here clean. This is where the O-ring rides, up here at the top. Try to keep all that stuff clean. So this washer is just not a standard washer. It's got like a rubber insert, so it is a seal. And this bolt just ain't a standard bolt either. It's got a weird shoulder right here for that to seal against. I want to make sure I get that good and clean, and it's got another little bit of a shoulder right here, and I'm guessing that's got to do with that spring. So put the washer on, slide it through, make sure our spring is still good and clean. Drop the spring on. So that's that. That's that. Crawl back up there and get full of grease and oil and shit. I've got enough hands, and I hate to put stuff down in the dirt, but let me get my O-ring back in there. I know a lot of you guys are probably cringing me picking up this rag off the dirt and everything, but that's what I'm doing. And yes, if I'd known this was a big ass heavy thick O-ring, I never would have pulled it out. So this is me learning. Okay, that's that. Funny thing, you got to put tension on the spring before the bolt will go all the way through the filter. Oh, there we go. Okay. Good. Okay, the spring's shoved down. Spring's shoved down farther onto that shoulder. Okay. That makes me feel better about it. Well, I sure wish this loader arm wasn't in my damn way. I don't know that I'd be making any more progress, but that metal is cold on my chin when I got my head laying on it. What a pain in the ass. You just gotta press it in, compress that spring while you're turning the fucking bolt. And I only got one hand down in there. That's my problem. You have to do about 3 things. You gotta line the hole up, press it in, and turn the damn bolt at the same time. I know it ain't good. I can't get a bite on the damn bolt. Come on, I think it's going in there. Alright, well, I'm going to go check the book. I think that bolt, I think it was 65 foot-pounds. I'm going to go check the book real quick, get my torque wrench. Alright, I don't know how well you all can see or not, because I'm having a hard time seeing too. The lights have come on the barn and the garage. That means it's dark outside. Book calls for 61 to 68 foot-pounds on this bolt, so I'm going to make it 65. Got my Harbor Freight special. Laugh if you want, but it's either Harbor Freight torque wrench or no torque wrench at all, because I ain't going to buy one of them high dollar outfits. There we go. 65 foot-pound. According to that. Looks good to me. Alright, well, I'm going to clean up my mess here and throw that old filter away. I'm mark in my book the number that the filter that takes, and I'm also going to mark in my book a note to tell myself next time around that the O-ring that comes with the filter will not work, and to order an O-ring from Komatsu. I'll get it figured out between now and next time around. Put a new O-ring in that. And when I say next time around, I mean in about 10 or 15 hours run time probably, because what I'm going to do is flush those lines out. I'm going to pull those lines off the transmission. I'm going to blow them, each of those 10 lines. Well, there's 7 of them that I can see go into the transmission. 3 of them terminate into a manifold block there. I don't know what the hell the deal is with that. I don't know if they just circulate back up through that manifold block, but there's actually 7 lines that come off the bottom of the manifold. So I'm going to see if I can't pull each of those lines off the transmission and blow air through it to try to blow any dirt that might be in those lines out. And then when I put the pilot control valve back on, hopefully the fluid coming through that filter then will be clean, and lines will be clean, so I'm trying to keep any dirt from contaminating my valve again. And then I'm just going to run this thing enough to get it up to temperature, get everything circulating around, and then I'm going to do all the maintenance on this thing. So I'm going to run it about, I don't know, about 10 hours or so, just enough to get everything circulating around, and then I'm going to change hydraulics, all the fluid, the filter, clean the strainer, everything that I can do to maintain the hydraulic system. And then I'm going to do the transmission again, which takes that filter, and there's a suction strainer on that. I'll clean that also. All the maintenance, engine oil, coolant and stuff. This son of a bitch takes 11 gallons of coolant. That's going to take 6 gallons of antifreeze I'm going to have to buy. And that stuff runs about, I don't know, $12 to $13 a gallon. So, 6 times 13 just for antifreeze. So it's going to take a lot to do the maintenance on this. It takes over 5 gallons of gear oil in each final drive. So, it's got 11 gallons of gear oil in the final drive. It's got 69 gallons of hydraulic fluid in it between the hydraulics, the rear end, and the transmission torque converter. Those are 2 separate things. So 69 gallons of hydraulic fluid in this bastard. It's just a big machine, takes a lot of fluid. So anyhow, I'm going to do all that maintenance. So that filter and that O-ring that I kind of picked at a little bit, they're not going to be in there very long at all. So if they're a little leaky or whatever, it's no big deal. I'm going to change that all out, and I'll make sure I get a good O-ring then. So that's it, guys. You've pretty much seen it. Hopefully you got entertained and didn't laugh at me too much. But if you got any questions or comments or anything, leave them down below. Anybody with one of these machines or any kind of experience with one of these machines, I would love to hear about it, because I'm completely green on this machine. So any tips or tricks you got about, you know, something to look out for a 175C. I mean, hell, they made them from 1972 on up to, I think they quit making them in 2003. So there's a lot of them out there. You know, I'd love to hear it. Post me something down in the comments. I'd get a kick out of reading it, and you know, you might help me out a lot. So I'll see you on the next one.